Reese's Pieces, an exploration into the puzzles, toys, games, and products of Reiss Games Incorporated, as well as spin-off versions of those products. The company was also known as Reiss Associates Incorporated, Paragon-Reiss Incorporated, with products also marketed by and for Romney Merchandise Corporation, Louis Palui Incorporated, and Gamut of Games Incorporated. Maybe you've played one of these games or got stuck on one of their puzzles. Sit back and enjoy learning about each of these various products as we take you on an in-depth look at these items.
So 005, file number 385, Robert Stephenson's Rocket Victoria Classic Train Puzzle. And you can also use the voice control, Denchiati, go! To announce things, but mine's not working. Arcade! Slick track, slick train. Well, I guess it should be called a route, not a track. But it's a train, so it's track. Boom, 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 boom. You can cheat, go up to here, as long as it's not engaged. Take all the way off. Accelerate 2. Gear 2. 39 miles per hour. Then I go back to first gear. Speed limit 35. I can get up to 39, and then after 39, shift down 1, let it get to 37, shift all the way up, honk horn. There's the 2. How close did I get? Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh. So close. Not that I've driven a train. I wonder how trains are made. And I wonder if I could build a train. Hey Tato, what do you think? Thanks, Tato. This looks interesting. Victoria, classic train puzzle. Looks like the original rocket train. Here's the side of the box. It says Reiss style number 385. Classic train puzzle. 34 pieces locked together, solution enclosed. Although technically there's 36 pieces. Copyright 1977, Reiss Games Incorporated. Here's the other side of the box. Classic train puzzle. You're on the right track when you disassemble this authentic antique reproduction into 34 separate parts. Actually, there are 36 pieces. They do not count the miniature pins that hold the pistons into place, but they are loose, separate pieces. But putting this back together again without the use of glue could drive you loco. Although technically I did have to use glue because one of the pieces broke. Think you can? Just a ticket for engine enthusiasts, mini collectors, and puzzle nuts. Solution enclosed if you run out of steam. Reiss style 385. Made in England for Reiss Games Incorporated, New York, New York. Zip code 10001. Orange, California. Zip code 92667. A subsidiary of National Paragon Corporation. Pop this open and see what's inside. There on the bottom. Solution for the classic train puzzle. Copyright 1977. It's held on there by 4 staples. And to remove these staples, see what's happened. I remove the staples from down here and reattach them to the plastic. Now, and take this out very, very carefully, because they're attached together right there in that tiny little pin, the only thing holding them together. If you're wondering about this, it's printed on there. This is what it looks like flattened out. Little plastic piece. And here's the other side. Get rid of that. Now here's the train up close. Little smokestack with like a crown on top. Two little combustion things. And if you look here, the wheels actually turn. And this little piston goes up and down. Same thing on this side. The wheels sort of move. Alright. First thing I'm going to do is pull off the wheels. Oh, and right here, Miscellanea, copyright 1977, Stephenson's Rocket, made in England. Even though the box says Victoria. Victoria. Style number 385. Pull off this. These ones are the short ones. And if you look at the wheels, you can see there's a little edge here that it would attach to the rail. These got to go on the outside. The flat, smooth side goes on the inside. Pull off this little pin, slide this out, and there's another tiny little pin right here. And this goes straight up, comes off. And these sides are different. Pop this off the wheel. Gently. This just slides in and out. There. There. Take this off. This hook's under here. See if I can get it up right now or not. Not sure if I can get it up yet or not. Probably have to move the engine first. Yep. I'll take off these front wheels. See, there's a little loop in there. You can slide it out. Oh, come on. You have trouble getting the wheels off, just turn it. And they'll pop off. Now see, this won't turn this way, but you got to turn it this way and then slide it out. And then the little crown comes off. And there are two little pieces here. Together they make up a little screw. Now this part, take this little pin out. Yeah, I can take this off later. I'll take that out. I'll take that apart later. Turn this just a little bit. Come off. See how it fits in here? If you try to lift it straight up, it won't do it. You might even snap the piece. Now here's this piece. Goes forward. This sort of locks onto here. You gotta take this, pull this out, and this will come off. And now that, come on, see if I can get a hold of it. There we go. And then the two halves of these. If you're wondering, this is where the seat is, and this is where this goes. It goes all the way up to there. Alrighty, that's the engine. Now if you try to get this up, it won't come out. There's a little knob right in here and a little knob in here that'll keep it from coming out, but you got to move it forward, slide this up, it catches right here, slide it up, take it off, and you can slide this back. Be careful, because this part is really easy to break. If you look really close, I already broke it once. They're super glued back together. Did pretty good. And if I can do it, I don't know if I can do it without breaking it again. This is supposed to go up. Probably easier to take this out. Here's the barrel. Take the barrel in half. I'm gonna do the wheels next. It's the back wheels, maybe. Yep, there we go. Got it. Oops. One wheel. Two wheels. Now it should be easier to move this and get this out without breaking it. I've also removed all the little burrs and stuff that were on there. Now the only thing holding it together, here's the plate, and here's where the barrel was sitting on top of this. There's that. There's there. That one, and the last piece. There. Now if you look at these, one is just slightly bigger. This short ones go for the front, and this longer one goes for the back. Because if you see here, this is the short one, and if you see the engine plate, how much shorter the engine is compared to the trailer. Alright, now I'm gonna rearrange them so this looks like this. Be back in a minute. Here, this is what it looks like. I want to show you something else. Here are all the pieces, all 34 pieces. But if you look closely, down here on the pistons, they got the little pins into the pistons. They don't count the pins of the pistons. Here's a comparison of the wheels. See how the engine's small wheels are bigger than the trailer wheels. Alright, let's move this stuff out of the way. Alright. Now I'll begin with the trailer. Notice axle passes all the way through the wheel. You'll have to pass through a little bit to hook onto the gate, but if you need to stop it, just put your thumb on there to stop it from going all the way through, which is important for the main engine's big wheel, because the piston's got to spin around. There's the set of wheels. Now as we attach the wheels to the sides of the gate, you can see the tiny little holes here that the axle goes into. Give you a closer view. Now we attach the other side of the gate, gently squeeze it together and it should stay. These little notches up front are where the front gate goes, front post goes down to lock it into the main engine. Now we try to slide in the bottom plate. Remember, the upraised part is the back where the barrel is. Two center little pegs got to be facing upward so the barrel can rest on them. You can't really see it here, but I've tried to put it in at an angle and then sort of pry it open a little bit and just open it enough that I can put the two sides together and put the bottom plate in without taking the wheels too far off. And now try to put on the front pull gate. You've got to start from the top, push it down, and then the bottom plate you can sort of slide forward and backwards. You slide the bottom plate forward, then drop the gate with the pole on it down into the little slot. Now we're going to make the barrel. We're going to join the two ends of the barrel. Give them a little twist. Put the barrel in first. We try to open the two sides just a little bit to put the barrel in. If done right, this won't affect the front gate. But if you look here, there's a tiny little peg on the inside of the sides. They go into the rim of the barrel. Now you take the barrel, move it forward so you can drop it in the back gate. Now here's the back gate, and it'll just slide right down and lock into place. Two little holes here that the pegs from the back gate go into. Kind of hard to see what you're doing here, but push it on and push it down. When you're pushing down, try not to break the axle. And now once the back gate is in place, just take the barrel and push it back, and then we have the finished trailer. You'll notice sometimes the wheels slide back and forth on the axle. Now let's next start with the smokestack of the engine, the two halves together. Now put the tiny little crown on top. You can see the tiny little spikes on the top of the crown. Sadly, this camera doesn't have a very good zoom or focus. Here's the base, the writing is on the bottom, and the little square part is at the front. Now we put in the front grille. Remember how I showed you before? Slide it in from the side and then turn it. The grille notches on the bottom got to be facing backwards. Now we put the two parts of the tank together. Here's pin number 1. And here's pin number 2. Sorry, I'm out of frame again. Here you can see that this tab goes into that little notch down there, and it locks the two halves of the tank together. Next, we're going to install the rear standing area. and a little plate that locks that into place. Next we're going to put the tank in. Yeah, I need that front grill first before I put the tank on. The notches on the bottom of the tank go onto the tabs on the rear plate. Now trying to hold it all steady, you gotta try to lighten everything up so we can put the smokestack inside. You gotta turn it to the side, slide it in, and then stand it up. Once you get to the vertical, it won't keep going. It'll stop at the vertical, and it'll lock it into place. Now we got it left of the wheels. Now we look to make sure we're putting the axle on the right side. When you're putting the wheels on, remember that the flat part's got to be on the inside and the little notched edge got to be on the outside that grips the rail. These are the wheels. You don't want the axle to go through the wheels. You just want them to stop at the wheel. If the axle sticks out, you can push it back down. There are tiny little areas down here we can put the axle through. We had to take one of the wheels off so we could put the axle through the notches on the bottom. Now we slide the axle through. Now we add the second wheel. There you go, the front wheels are in, but remember the axle's got to be down below so the piston can move around. If you look right here, you can see the second little hole near the axle where the pin's got to go. So the pin's got to go through the piston and then into the wheel. The rounded part of the piston that the pin goes into, that part has got to be facing downward. So the little curve will fit into the piston arms. Now that we got the pin in the piston, now we got to try to put the pin in the wheel. This is kind of hard to do because you can't see the pin. Come on, get in here. There you go. Now as we turn the wheel, the piston goes around. Here's the piston frame for this side. We'll drop it down onto the back plate. Now we'll attach piston number 2 with the pin. Now we'll put on the second piston frame. Sorry, this is a bit off camera again. Here we go. Here's a better look. Now to push the piston arm down between the two beams of the frame. Here's a comparison of the toy. Now as we turn the big wheels, here's a comparison of the toy versus a model. Now we're going to try to align the wheels so they both turn at the same time. Here's a comparison of the puzzle with a drawing. Here's a comparison of the toy. Here's a comparison of the puzzle. Now for the back wheels and axles. Here's a comparison of the puzzle with the drawing of the. Here's a comparison of the. Put one wheel on the axle. Here's a comparison of the puzzle. And I put on the other wheel. Here's a comparison of the puzzle with the drawing of the real thing. And now I attach the trailer. Be careful, the trailer hitch pole can easily break. They are pretty close. Here's a comparison of the puzzle and a drawing of the real thing. Not too far off. The train was made in 1829 for a competition called the Rain Hill Trials. The only person credited in the competition flyer is Robert Stephenson, not to be confused with the author Robert Louis Stevenson. Here, Stephenson is spelled S-T-E-P-H-E-N-S-O-N. Unfortunately, when I try to calculate the scale of the toy, using the different dimensions, I get different results, anywhere between 1 to 52 to 1 to about like 115 to 1. The original rocket still exists, but it's been modified since its original design. Shortly after the end of the competition, which it was the only one to finish, about a year later, the pistons were lowered, the firebox was enlarged, and the forward smoke box was extended. In 1862, it was donated to the Patent Office Museum, which is now the Science Museum of London. Now to put it back in the package. To put it back in the plastic bubble, I tip it on its side, slide it in, and then stand it up. It's a lot easier this way. Next, I fold up the instructions. the classic train puzzle, Stephenson's rocket, or as it shows here, Victoria. Although she was alive at the time, but she wasn't ruler yet. And last but least, Chalmers, Detroit. But that's for next time. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed solving these puzzles as much as I have. Bye-bye.